This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
This year was a special year for Star Wars. Revenge of the Sith was celebrating its 20th anniversary. In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin kills Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar. Without it, we wouldn't know Darth Vader from the original trilogy. Even if you don't know Star Wars, you know Vader. Special thanks to Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor for bringing the iconic characters to life. Love Mackenzie. Mwah.
Hi, we're Lori and Bill from Wisconsin.
Now, Star Wars is more than just a movie franchise. It's about heroism, peace, serenity, and harmony.
It's power and passion.
Well, I think despite our differences, we can all agree Star Wars is really about lightsabers. 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 Lightsabers.
But Star Wars is that for us. We've gotten so much closer and our relationship has gotten so special just because he sat me down to watch the movies when I was really little and he watched them with me. And you know, it's just a really big passion of ours and we love watching all the shows and watching the movies together and just being able to talk about it. I'm so thankful for this universe for just allowing us to stay so close and just to always have those memories together.
Alright, we're gonna give it our best shot. Ready? 30 seconds on why we like Star Wars, and my reason is going to be Darth Vader. What is your reason going to be, Mr. Anakin? I think he likes the red lightsabers. Every time I try to watch one, he's pretty excited. I like Darth Vader because I like his redemption story. And everyone can be saved and redeemed no matter what. There's always good in him.
My name is Dustin from Michigan. What Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars means to me is just so much of my childhood and my life. I love everything Star Wars. It just means so much to me. I just remember being a kid when the prequels came out. My dad was a huge fan of the originals, so he took me and my brothers to all the midnight releases of the prequels and just waiting in line outside the theater, seeing everybody dressed up with all their lightsabers. It was just the best experience and something I always remember. And now I get to experience that with my two sons, going to cons and giving them lightsabers.
was with my brother when we were younger, and we would play a lot of Star Wars games together. And it felt like a universe I was supposed to be a part of, and it's a really wonderful community, and everyone has something in common and something to agree on and something to bond over. I really felt like I was meant to be part of this, and I really hope that if you're new to Star Wars, that you feel that way too.
And I'm Jacob. And I'm Cassidy. And 5 years ago we met at work, and we both realized that we were obsessed with Revenge of the Sith. And I realized that for so much of my life, I've been channeling either Anakin in My Nature of Sand or Obi-Wan in My Nature of Flying. Star Wars, especially Revenge of the Sith, reminds us that there should always be, even in tragedy, close friendship, and even more so, epic lightsaber drama. Star Wars gave us more than just movies, it really gave us brotherhood. Can't wait to see you both at the Fan Expo in Chicago. And may the Force be with you.
Underestimate the power of my love for Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. That movie has resonated with me since 2005. From the amazing cinematography, the incredible lightsaber battles, the tragic downfall of a man like Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. What isn't there to love for this movie? Thank you so much, Ewan, Hayden, and especially George Lucas.
My grandma introduced me to Star Wars when I was 6. It's something that I have brought an absolute obsession to my house, and my whole room is decorated by any stick object I pick up is a lightsaber. I'm swinging it around, and it's something I can't even put into words how much I truly love it. It's like everything I do is just Star Wars.
A long time ago, to a galaxy far, far away. Fan Expo Chicago, are you ready? Let the fun begin. Ladies and gentlemen, Ewan McGregor. Thank you so very much for the escort. You have done a great job. True Jedi Masters, a lot of you. Thank you so very much. Guys, he's here!
So many people leaving as I was coming over here. I thought there maybe be about 5 people in here, but no.
You're the reason why we are here, sir.
Very good. I'm so hoarse having met you all over the last 2 days. I can hardly speak.
That's all right. That's all right. You just look at us. That's all we need. First and foremost.
Welcome. So nice to see you all.
Absolutely. No. I mean, they're the reason why we're here. Welcome to Fan Expo Chicago. Before we jump into all of the things, obviously, with this being Fan Expo, fans are what come first. And I got to know, what are you a super fan of? Is it comics? Is it sci-fi? What's your jam?
Oh, interesting. I'm a fan. I mean, my only sort of fanatical. I was a fan of Oasis back in the 90s.
Let's go.
Really, embarrassingly, I was sort of I had a sort of teenage fan crush on Oasis when I was in my mid to late 20s with it. I was a father, and it was embarrassing. And people would come for dinner, and it would always end up with like, watch this Oasis video, and listen to this album, and this deep cut, you know. It was embarrassing. So Oasis, and then nowadays I think the only sort of fanatical. I love watching motorcycle racing, the MotoGP, and that's the one thing that I like to. It's the only sort of sports type passion that I have, and yeah. So those would be the 2 things.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oasis and motorcycles.
Yeah.
It fits.
Yeah.
It fits. I love it. You joined this franchise late 90s to really kick off the prequel series, and completing that, you've had fans I know begging for you to come back, and you finally do for Obi-Wan. Day to put back on this character that you really kind of made your own?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was such a long process. When we made the prequels, you know, there was no, first of all, that video was really touching. I thought that was really lovely, watching the people talking about how, that's what's lovely about doing these cons, is that I get such a strong sense of how important these movies are to you, and then for it makes them more important to me in a way. And so I thought that was really lovely to watch that special video before we came out here.
Love you!
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so there was a long process. When we made the prequels, you know, we made them in a time there was no social media, there was no internet. I don't think there was any internet. Can you imagine? I tell you what, guys, it was so good. It was so nice. We had it made, and then Apple ruined it with a stupid phone, and now we're all screwed. Anyway, yeah, thanks, Steve. Nice one. But there was no even internet, so then there was, and then there was social media, and then there was this sort of. I did social media for loads. I was reluctant at first, and then I sort of came on for a wee bit, and then I left because it got nasty. So I left. But in the meantime, I kept seeing all this. I didn't realise that you were all sort of waiting for more. I didn't know. I kept seeing it all the time. And then when I did do social media, lots of messages about Obi-Wan, and will you do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And it was getting to be sort of embarrassing. I felt like, so I got in touch with, by that time, Lucasfilm was with Disney, and I got in touch with Disney and said, I think I better come in. And because people had been asking, and I was like, and also in interviews, every interview I did ended with two questions. Would you ever do Trainspotting sequel? We haven't done that yet. We did do that, but we haven't done that yet. And then the last question was always, and would you play Obi-Wan Kenobi again? You know, and I kept saying, yeah, I'd be totally up for it. But it was asked so often, and it was out there so much. It looked a bit like I was sort of trying to get the job. Basically, you know, I was like, so I got in touch with him. I said, look, you better let me come in. So I went in, and I just said, just so you know, I do mean it. Like I would totally be up for it. And they were like, okay, we are happy to hear that. And then we started talking, and that's where this series came from, you know. And then it became a TV series. It was going to be a movie at first, and it was with a director who then went off to do something else, and then it ended up with Deborah, and I loved working with her. She's so great.
Make some noise for Deborah Chow.
And then it became I think because they brought out Disney Plus, you know, they wanted a big sort of splash, and I thought that's what we were going to be. And then just before they brought out The Mandalorian. I was like, I thought we were supposed to be the big splash. What's this going on here? But there seems to be plenty of room for all of us, it seems.
Absolutely.
And that's what
it is for sure. Yeah. So obviously you brought up Deborah. What was the difference, or one of the biggest differences between her directorial style versus George's?
Well. What I loved about it, I loved that first of all, she directed all of them.
Yes.
And that's quite unusual in a television series, but it was really key in this, because the whole series had her vision behind it. Well, I don't know, I would never compare two directors. It wouldn't be, you know, every director is completely unique, and everybody comes at it from a different way. I think also the time was very, very different. When we made the Phantom Menace on film, you know, in Britain, and we made the second one in Australia. And it was the first digital cameras. You know, we had cameras that they had huge cables coming out the back of them that led all the way over to a sort of tented area over here on the side of the stage. That was all the hard drives where the digital image would be collected, and it hummed like it literally was like. It was like we'd gone back in time. You know, suddenly the cameras were not. We couldn't move them as easily. It was like, but George was pioneering, you know, what we all only shoot on. Now, you've got to fight hard to shoot on film these days. But he pioneered that, and so we were at the cutting edge of that. And so then when we did the series years later, and we had the volume, you know, the 300-degree wraparound, it's like a huge screen, but it's difficult to explain what it is. Maybe you all know what it is, but you know, it projects the background, so it's not like blue screen or green screen, which, you know, I've spoken ad nauseum about how hard that was in the prequels. This is actually, you could see it, you know, there'd be like little digital people walking around in the background, and as you move the camera, it changed the perspective of the screen, so wherever the camera moved, it corrected itself. It was a beautiful piece of technology. It's still somewhat restrictive in that you only have this small area to act in, so it's not like the be all and end all. I think with Andor they decided not to use it, and they used real locations, and I think that gave Andor the sort of something special that I think they're. So I think maybe it was of its time, the volume, but we had that different technique, you know, a different technology that Deborah was using that George didn't have at his fingertips.
I love that. Make some noise for that now. That's awesome. So you watched before as well, yes?
Yeah, just recently I watched. I missed it when it came out, and I don't know. I always come to things late. That's just the way I am. If everybody's talking about something, I'm like, yeah, I'll see that later. You know? and then when I watch it, you know, a year later, I'm like, this is really good. And everyone's like, yeah, that's what we were all saying a year ago. But I watched Andor, and I watched the first episode of it at home with my little boy. And then I realised what everyone was talking about. And then watched all of the whole of the first season and all of the second season just on my own without him, because I couldn't wait to get through it all, you know. He watched bits of it with me, but I thought it was great. I really liked it, and then I got really excited. I was thinking, I think I'm in this timeline. I think I could be in season 3. I was super excited, and then I realised, oh no! There can't be a season 3, you know. So anyway, but I could have, maybe if there was, I could have squeezed in, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, there's always a chance that maybe there's a story that's happening at the same time where it kind of crosses over, so there's always a chance. If Disney is listening hypothetically.
Come on, Disney!
There's a lot of things that, you know, can go wrong, but there's a lot of practical effects, especially with lightsaber fighting, that happens. Can you tell us about any sort of bloopers, little accidents that may or may not have happened in the midst of your physicality with either the prequels or Obi-Wan?
I don't know if there's any, I can't remember if there's any behind the scenes footage of it, but when Hayden and I would fight together, you know, the prequels, the lightsabers were metal. There was the sort of the beautiful lightsaber handles that would hang on our belts, and then there was a very smooth version of those for when we were actually fighting. So if you spun one of those in your hands, you could cut yourself, and they were impossible to fight with. They were just dress handles, those ones. So the actual oh, here's maybe one down here.
Hey.
So there were smooth versions like this one that didn't have any detail on, but you could spin them around in your hands, and then they had a metal blade on it, some kind of alloy. It was hollow, which made for the end of it was just like if you imagine sawing through a copper pipe or something. the end of it was like, that's quite dangerous. So and then we would go at each other. Like, I mean, you properly. The only way to really do that, you learn the fights like a dance, like a piece of choreography. You know exactly. You should know exactly. You know, you're not improvising. You shouldn't be improvising because you could really hurt each other.
Absolutely.
So you learn it slowly, and you learn section by section by section, and then you start putting the sections together, and then you start trying to. They just sort of naturally speed up until you're doing them really fast, like the Ray Park scene. Fight scene after Qui-Gon gets killed was like George was there's a way that if you overcrank the camera if you undercrank hang on to make something slow motion you speed the camera up, right? So he was slowing the camera. We were going so fast that he was like, people won't believe this, so he was like slowing it down a bit, as we were doing it, because we just learned it so well, and we went at it so hard. But with Hayden and I, with the metal blades would be totally bent after one take, so we would do one take of the fight, and sometimes they were long takes, it would be a long bit of the fight, but by the end of it, it's it looked like a question mark sometimes. There was one guy whose job, I wish I knew his name, I can't remember. Who? Thomas! Oh my God, I'm glad you know. Is Thomas the lightsaber maker? Yes. You all know this, you see. I don't know why I'm even here, you know more about it than I do. Thomas would wheel his cart from stage to stage with just millions of lightsaber blades and remake them after every take, so we'd be handed sort of a fresh sword after each take. Thomas, yeah, of course. What's his second name?
Do you guys have that?
Thomas Hansen.
Yes.
Oh, there we are.
Okay.
Maybe we should make Hansen bit up.
Now,
sounds good enough. Thomas Hansen.
No. So with these fightings, obviously the intensity was high. Was there ever a time where maybe you mistimed a swing and maybe hit?
Oh yes, all the time. I mean, I also think George Lucas, in his wisdom, decided that these swords, they were so good, the Jedis, they didn't need a hilt. If you look at any sword in history, it's got well, that's not true because the samurai didn't have it, but they probably had a little bit. We had nothing. Like that sword would slide down and wrap your knuckles, and that was the main injury was knuckle wraps. You'd be like, you were all butch in front of the camera, and the second they were cold cut, you'd be like, So there was that. I don't remember if anyone got. Oh, I tell you, somebody got really hurt. Nash Edgerton, my stunt double, who I met in Australia doing Moulin Rouge, which we shot just. He was my stunt double for some years in Star Wars, and he did hurt himself. His mum was on set to visit, and he was doing, the fight in the rain with there's a fight in the rain with Django. Thank you. Okay, just give me a second. I'll get there. Thomas. Django Fett. Okay. I'll get there. Thanks, I wouldn't have got there. And he did I had to do a big backflip. And he landed and he broke his teeth. And he was like, he was so aware that his mum was there that he was just like, I'm alright, Mum. Okay. And somebody took his mum for a cup of tea. He was not alright, he really hurt himself. But I don't remember any nasty lightsaber injuries, luckily.
That's good.
And Nash is fine now, he's got lovely teeth.
Yay! Make some noise for Nash is fine.
Nash Edgerton. He's brilliant. He's a very good filmmaker. And his brother Joel Edgerton is a very successful actor. Cool brothers.
Now, obviously, you brought up a couple of things. Moulin Rouge, you brought up Trainspotting. We're big fans of all of your work, not just of the Star Wars franchise. So, can you tell us any hints about anything that might be coming up that's not Star Wars? We don't want any issues with Disney. that you might have on the horizon?
I did a film with Anne Hathaway called Flowervale Street. God bless you. It's got to be my age, isn't it? I'm just my age. My wife's not here. Usually my wife's like, Flowervale Street. Thomas Hansen. She just whispers names that she knows I'm about to forget, into my ears. I don't have her here to remind me. Flowervale Street. So that'll be an interesting film to see. I won't tell you anything about it because it will spoil the surprise. But it's going to be fun, that one. And then I haven't done it. I did a play in London recently. Thank you. And I love that, but I haven't made anything since Flowervale, which was last spring. Somebody give me a job. Come on, Disney. Season 2, for goodness sake.
And it's hashtag Obi-Wan another, okay? That's what it is, okay? Hashtag it right now. Any chance that you're going to do any more of your motorcycle showcase?
Yes. We just did our 4th trip, Charlie and I, called Long Way Home, which is on the telly now, you can see it. And they've always spaced them out. There are a lot to do, and they take it's like it's an odd one. Like when I get a film and I go in a film, you're totally like, that's my job, and I'm sort of, I've got used to going away from my family to do my job, and sometimes they can come with me and sometimes not, I guess. But the bike trips that's sort of that's on me, It's a job in that we get paid to do it, I suppose, but we decide to do it. And so that one, I don't like to do them too close together because it's a lot of time away from my family, which I don't love. So. But we'll definitely do some, we'll definitely do another one. We're not finished, Charlie.
We've got some fan questions that we're turned in, and this one is from Megan. Is Megan in the room? Do we have a Megan in the room? Okay, we'll take that. Megan wants to know, what part of Obi-Wan's personality do you most relate to in your own life?
Well, I can be a little by the book like him. I can be a little bit like fastidious about things, doing things the right, doing things the way you're supposed to do them, I suppose. It can be a bit like that. I'm definitely a father. I've been a father since I was 24. I've been a father I'm blessed to be a father to 5 children. Hey. Sort of paternal side to everyone, especially with Hayden, where I can be like that with my kids, And then in the new series, I love taking him, playing him older, playing him closer to Alec Guinness's age, I loved playing him in the whole idea of taking this man we know as a capable general, somebody you could completely rely on, and take him to a place where he's lost so much, so many of his friends, and the ones that aren't gone are in hiding, and he's lost his faith. I thought that was really fascinating to start the story there, and I loved playing him in that way. So, and the part of that was just being older, and I am now barely today, several times quite old now.
This one's from David. From the prequels, which action sequence was the most challenging to shoot, and why?
I don't know. There's lots of. I've always. I just love it so much what we do. That I don't ever feel that it's a challenge. I think the stuff in Tunisia that we shot in the desert in Tunisia was hard because it was so hot. Like it was unbelievable. It was amazing. You'd be in the makeup bus, and then you'd just open the door to come out, and you'd step down the steps, and the scent of all your makeup would just go. Luckily, I was wearing mainly brown, so it didn't show up too much on my costume, but it was so hot. And then I suppose some of the underwater stuff would have been. That's always quite tricky because you go down and you gotta hold your breath for sometimes a long time, and as soon as you've got to do that, your brain, somewhere in your brain, or at least with me, starts to go, you should probably breathe. So you start immediately panicking, you do like 5-second takes, and everyone in the crew's going, is that the best you can do? So the underwater stuff, I can't remember any, I just remember seeing this, you probably heard this story, because you seem to have heard everything else. And this story when I was being shown around, when I got the job to play the role, and I was being shown around by George at Leavesden, the film studio. And they were making, took me to all the different departments, and they were making the submarine that I go in with Liam and Ahmed, and they. What?
Just give me the real name, guys.
Yeah, Ahmed played Jar Jar. Ahmed Best. And so I was looking at the submarine that they were carving out of polystyrene, and I had a little glass, and I said to George, will we go under? And he looked at me and went, what? I said, will we go underwater in the submarine? And he went, there's none of it real, you know. And a small part of me died. The little boy in me was like, oh. It really was not a good idea to put 3 actors underwater in a polystyrene submarine, you know what I mean?
I can see it going back there.
It could go back.
He's very smart, he's very smart. This is from Laura from Madison, Wisconsin. You've worked in huge franchises, intimate dramas, and musicals. How do you adapt your performance style for such different worlds and tones?
I think you just always do. That's sort of what you do as an actor. From project to project, they're always unique, you know. And you don't sort of go, you don't do like a musical performance or you're just always trying to find the truth of what you're doing. Once you have a character that you have to embody, and you have words that the writer's given you on the page, and then you have the world that the director is creating, and the combination of you combine all those 3 things to come up with your performance. So it's always unique, you know. It should be anyway. I mean, for me, that's what I think our job is, and so. Yeah, I'm lucky that I had the chance to do a lot of different kinds of things, small movies, big movies, musicals, and TV shows and plays. And I love the variety of it, to be honest.
Absolutely. I think we're the lucky ones, though, because we get to experience what you bring to those roles, and it's absolutely fabulous. Roles with any other Star Wars actor for one day, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's good. It's really hard. It would be from the original trilogy. Okay. It would have to be Luke or Han, so I mean, just so I get to work with Carrie, I think. I met her after I'd made the first one, and we had that in common. You know, we had Star Wars in common, and she was so funny and she was so brilliant. And I became, you know, I loved her so much as a child, you know, and there I was meeting her in person. We became quite good friends, and you know, but what I never got to do was act with her.
Yeah. Somewhere in the multiverse, maybe there's their chance.
Yeah, maybe.
This one is from Aaron from Oak Park. What was your favorite moment or scene to film in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Well, it's hard questions because I loved all of it. You know, there were some really special moments. Like I got to play a scene with my daughter Esther.
Yes, yeah.
And that was so nice. It was so lovely to play that some kind of meta moment with her. And that was really special to be on set with her. You know, was something new for me, and I loved it. I loved to see how professional she was about it, and how I tried to just step back, and I did. I watched her with Deborah and then chatting about what she was going to do, and I was just like so proud, you know, so proud, so nice. So that was good, but you know, I was just lucky to work with great actors in that series, and I got to play. I mean, some of the things that I'd never done before was I played scenes with stormtroopers,
Right.
And because there hadn't. I'm right? They weren't stormtroopers. So I remember. I mean, I was just joking. The first day, I remember the first day I had to be in a back of a truck with Vivian, and the stormtroopers were there, and I remember just because it just takes you back to the child in yourself, and so that was kind of the moment, and I loved working with stormtroopers. I hadn't done that before. And then I worked with a lot of them. It seems by the end, like hundreds of them. And then, of course, fighting Darth Vader, you know. And we got ready. We rehearsed for a long time. And Hayden and I rehearsed, and there was a fighter, you know, Vader as well. And so we all rehearsed these fights a lot with a brilliant fight coordinator, Jojo, and it was just the best fun. The physical training for the series was amazing, and I was older, you know, and so it was harder to begin with. But then I could feel it come back. And so we'd done these fights a lot, but of course we just did them in the gym, you know. We hadn't done them. So it was the first fight with Vader was in episode 3, I think. This big sort of
it was episode
quarry
3
or something in LA. What?
A field.
Yeah, we shot it in this sort of quarry, like it was like a cement works or something in LA. So it was a night shoot, and it looked so cool with the lights and everything. And so we rehearsed it a bit, and then I was getting ready to do the first take, and then they were, you know, we were all ready. I was busy in my own thoughts, and then I had to be walking away, and Vader comes at me over my shoulder, and I turn around to defend a blow that he's coming to my head, and. So they're like, action! And I just do the first take, and then I can hear him, and I hear my sort of cue, if you like, and I turn around and it's Vader coming at me. I just had never seen it. It just shot fear through me to my core. Like it was like I was 5 years old again, or 6 years old again, and this image of him coming at me with that helmet was dead eyes, you know. It was so cool and terrifying and fun. Oh my God, it was brilliant.
Make some noise for that, y'all.
Another amazing thing was that I was on set. We're on this transporter. It's after we've escaped. I think it's I can't remember what episode. I'm doing a bit of a speech to try and rally the troops on this. All the sort of refugee people on the transporter that we're on. And Mary calls me to say, I think I'm going into labour. Now, I was like, okay. Okay. So I said to Deborah, you better just shoot me. All of me. Do the shots on me. Right now. And so she went, I said, Mary's going into labour. So we did the wide stuff, we came in a bit closer, and we did some close-ups of me, and then I was like, every time we got a series of takes, I'd be on the phone, like, how's it going? Yeah, it's definitely getting, they're coming closer together, you know. And Deborah got my close-up, and I went, okay guys, I'm out, got in my car, got home, and like a half an hour after I got home, we went to the hospital, we had our son. So they carried on shooting the other way on the crowds there. And which they took up the rest of the day, and the next day was Friday, and so they just decided, they'd given me, because we planned it, they'd given me a week off, but it was the next week, so starting on the Monday, and I said, what if she's a week late? They went, well, that's your week. I could have got a week off before the week my son was born. Anyway, she was absolutely on a day or so early. And so they gave the crew the Friday off. Everyone got a 3-day weekend, and they were like, hey!
That's how you do it. That's the Jedi.
That's how you do it.
Okay, so we got some lightning questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Real quick, just what your intuition is. Trust yourself. Favorite lightsaber color?
Blue.
There we go. Jedi robes or Mandalorian armor?
Oh yeah, I saw a little toy of me in a Mandalorian outfit. I was like, what am I doing in there? Somebody signed it for somebody. You see it? It's Obi-Wan in a sort of maroon Mando helmet. Was that from Clone Wars? Yeah, that's right. Why is he in the Mandalorian helmet? Oh, undercover. Yeah. Like 2 blasters. Like Robert De Niro.
Okay.
I saved the Queen, of course I do. Yes, I've seen that.
Best pilot, Han Solo or Anakin Skywalker?
In what respect? To go for a drink with?
So the best pilot, we'll say, no, I do like that. To go for a drink with. Who would you rather go for a drink with, Han Solo or Anakin?
Anakin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's my brother.
I might shoot you. Who's messier, R2-D2 or 3PO?
Oh, 3PO was a disaster. He's always, he can't see a thing. He's always, there's in the prequels, he's like there, like as a sort of, he's got trays with drinks and stuff. They're always like, he was always dropping and falling over. Yeah.
I love it. Which would you rather be? Really skilled with a lightsaber or really skilled with the Force?
They're the same thing. It's the same thing. Yes, that's it. One doesn't come without the other.
Would Obi-Wan be a cat person or a dog person?
He'd be a dog person. Come on.
Star Destroyer or Death Star?
Well, I'd quite like to be in a Star Destroyer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they'd be good fun to sort of explore. They're very pointy. They go very fast in them, probably. They do that stop thing.
Good brains.
So embarrassed about the Mandalorian thing.
Last one. Which would you rather? Join the rebellion or fight the Empire?
You're trying to trick me.
Nope. True question.
Join the rebellion.
Yep. Or fight for the Empire.
I thought you said fight the Empire.
No, fight for the Empire.
Join I am the rebellion. Hang on.
That might not be the right answer. Wait.
Feel the stage.
Yeah, can you feel that?
See what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, before you go, you gotta get out here in front of the audience, get some love to all of them. Can we get a quick photo with you guys? Phones out, y'all. This is your moment. For spin from you two. Listen, I said that are you just a quick spin? Just a quick gentlemen, join me in saying goodbye to Ewan McGregor. Ewan, thank you so very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Hayden is here.
Hello, everyone.
That is it. Dude, how has this weekend been treating you? Welcome to Chicago, of course.
Thank you. This has been awesome. It's been so nice to get to be here and meet so many of you, and I've just had a great time.
Absolutely. Last Friday, I understand you got to throw out the first pitch. Okay, so tell me, when you're up there, do you feel any pressure? Is there any fear or hatred?
No.
Okay.
I was hoping I was going to get to practice a little bit.
Okay.
They didn't really let me do that, but it still went well. I got it across the plate.
Yeah!
And then I got to sing the Take One with my 10-year-old daughter, which was just so special. And it was a cool jersey too.
Yeah, okay, so you guys talk about a jersey. That was a dope one. When they revealed that one to you, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I'd asked for the 66.
Oh! That is absolutely amazing. I love it.
I appreciate you.
So, obviously, Star Wars, huge franchise, soon to celebrate 50 years. Is that amazing? Before you joined the franchise in the Delectable Episode 2, were you a fan of Star Wars?
Yeah, I was a big fan.
Talk to me.
Well, I have an older brother who's like 8.5 years my older, and he was like the perfect age when the original trilogy came out. So when I was a little kid, he had all of the toys, and he had Star Wars bed sheets. So I was well versed in the Star Wars universe before I'd even seen the films.
Wow.
And I loved all the action figures and Darth Vader from a very early age definitely spoke to me.
Kind of serendipitous a little bit. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if you didn't have to pick Vader, who would you say was your favorite character?
I was always a big Boba Fett fan. Something about a masked character that I really enjoy.
So far, I love it. Now we got to know, like, obviously to take this iconic role is huge. To get this iconic role is even bigger. What was it like when you got that call that you were going to play Anakin Skywalker?
What she said. It was just a very surreal thing. You know, I went through this sort of many months of sort of being in contention for it and meeting George Lucas and auditioning for it. And I never really once thought that I would actually get the part. So when they finally got that phone call, it came as a big surprise to me, and I was just beyond thrilled.
Yeah. That's a welcome gift to all of us as fans as well, that you brought this character to life. We absolutely enjoyed that. As we're fans of Anakin and Vader, you have lived as him in multiple occasions. What do you think is the biggest piece of evolution of the Vader character, or from Anakin to Vader, that we as fans don't necessarily know yet?
I don't know that I understand the question.
Okay, that's right. What about him has changed the most, in your opinion, from when we first get introduced to him to his ultimate evolution as
I don't know that anything has really changed. I mean, from sort of what we established when we were doing the prequels, that was very much Anakin's story.
Absolutely.
It's been a real joy for me to get to come back to the character because I feel like we're just sort of adding new color and sort of getting to explore different sides of the character and just kind of fleshing him out a little bit more. But who Anakin is was obviously established by George Lucas, 100%. And that remains consistent.
Absolutely.
I mean, just from the perspective that I've changed, I guess, you know, I've had another 20 plus years of life that I can now bring to my work, and I feel in a lot of ways a stronger connection to Anakin just because I can understand him that much more, and I've had, you know, all of these years to continue to think about him, and I just feel it's an amazing privilege to get to come back to Anakin and continue to play this character.
It's a gift to all of us, actually. The sequels were a crazy, massive production, right? There's so many hands that went into making this whole project happen. Was there anyone in particular that, like, behind the scenes, that either created like props or makeup or something that really kind of stood out to you with the work that they did?
I wasn't in the sequels. The prequels, okay. I was wondering where you were going with this question.
I meant prequels.
The prequels.
Prequels.
I'm sorry. And so what was the question?
They really kind of stood out to you.
From the crew? Yeah. So many people from the crew. I mean, kind of one of the unique things about working on a Star Wars project is that everyone is just so excited to be there, and George Lucas got the very best people, in each of their sort of respective fields to come and participate. So, you know, the costume design, the set design. Thomas! I love Thomas. He was our lightsaber maker. He had a very cool job. He hung out making lightsabers all day. And he, you know, when we were making those films, the lightsabers were just like these metal rods. And so when Ewan and I are fighting, if we're really getting into it, the lightsabers after each take would get all warped and bent, and he would come and replace the blade for us and present us with a new saber each time. And Thomas is a go. Very sweet, thank you.
So speaking of the lightsaber fight in Revenge of the Sith, things get escalated in a huge way. Fighting-wise, you kind of go crazy in this one. Were there any particular fight scenes that were especially challenging?
I mean, the one that Ewan and I did at the end, our battle on Mustafar, that was something that we were really looking forward to getting to do. You know, from the get-go, we knew that there was going to be this big conflict between Anakin and Obi-Wan that was going to result in a sort of epic lightsaber battle. And so when it came time to do it, you know, when we got to Sydney, Australia, to start work on episode 3, Ewan and I spent a lot of time, like months, training and practicing, trying to get that fight to be as good as it could be. And Nick Gillard, the fight choreographer, and his team just did an amazing job and really told a story in that fight. And I'm very proud of the work that we got to do there.
Absolutely. Make some noise one more time. By chance, like, do you watch those particular fight scenes and kind of go back to remembering what it was like to film it?
I mean, I don't typically watch films that I've been in, but when I'm coming back to play Anakin again, I do kind of like want to give myself a bit of a refresher.
Okay, all right.
So I do, you know, every now and then watch episode 3 and the fight that Ewan and I did, and it's, you know, it's a sort of a trip down memory lane for me because it recalls all these sort of great memories you had when you were filming. And I love Ewan, so it was just an amazing thing that we got to create that together. Yeah.
Just on the other side, you should definitely watch the movies you're in. They're kind of amazing.
I do love the Star Wars films, so I enjoy getting to sort of go back and watch them again when I've come back to do the Obi-Wan show and now Ahsoka. Season 2, yeah, just you wait.
Allegedly Disney, allegedly. That's brilliant. Obviously, with this series, there's so many different cool props and things like that. If you were gifted one, what would be the one prop that you would love to have had from off set?
I would have loved to have gotten a Darth Vader helmet.
You didn't get a Darth Vader?
Yeah, Darth Vader helmet. No, maybe one day. There's still time.
Official Darth Vader helmet from Disney. I know everyone in this room is like, I'll buy you a Darth Vader. That's fair. I love it. Okay, so after returning to the Star Wars universe in Obi-Wan, so cool, so freaking cool. What was a surprise meeting or how do I want to say this? To get back into it, you are answering kind of the call of every fan that has watched you so far, right? What's it like to know that you are really bringing that fandom to a head by coming back to something that meant so much to all of us?
It's just such a privilege. To be a part of Star Wars is an amazing thing. And it's because of all of you guys and what the films mean to you and what these characters mean to you. And so to get to come back to it for Obi-Wan was a very meaningful thing for me, and the work that I got to do on that show. It's bedtime. The work that we got to do on Obi-Wan, I just thought was wonderful. That end scene between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan when he cracks Vader's helmet. That for me was it was huge because it was a side of the character that I hadn't yet gotten to explore, and the way it sort of depicted the destruction of that relationship, I thought was just really beautifully done, and it was such a nicely written scene, and the way it came to life, it was just, it all kind of, was really perfect, and I was happy with that.
Absolutely. This one's from Maya. If you could play any other Star Wars character besides Anakin and Vader, who would you choose and why?
Well, I said I was a big fan of Boba Fett, as you know. I remember when they were auditioning for Anakin, and I first got the call from my agent saying that, we've submitted you for the Anakin Skywalker role. I was like, that's nice of you, I appreciate it, but that's never gonna happen. So is there another part that you could put me up for? And I remember thinking if there's a young Boba Fett or something, that would be cool. So I would go with Boba Fett probably.
I like that. Good choice. Yes. Did your agent, when you got the role, go, we told you?
I don't remember them saying that.
That's how you stated it.
Yeah, but they were very happy for me.
Absolutely. This one's from Sarah. Sarah wants to know which Star Wars co-star made you laugh the most on set?
Oh, definitely Ewan. Yeah, I mean, he just has a wonderful sense of humor, and he was always making me laugh, and just brought a nice kind of levity to the set when it was needed, and that always sort of stuck with me.
That's awesome. Lewis from Portland wants to know which was harder as an actor, learning complex fight choreography or performing heavy emotional scenes?
Well, I guess if you gauge it by the amount of sort of preparation that went into it, definitely the fight scenes.
Okay.
and also because I had no experience with fighting with a sword or a lightsaber before, so that was just a new skill that I had to learn. But there were some, challenging emotional scenes too. Like when we were doing episode 2, I remember the scene where Anakin's with Padme and he confesses to slaughtering the Sand People. He deserved it. That was that was a challenging one. But they each have their sort of their own unique challenges. Yeah.
Absolutely right. I love it. This one's from Rachel from Boston. Is there another major franchise or comic book character you'd be interested in portraying?
Not that I've thought about. I don't know. I feel so fortunate for getting to play, Anakin and be a part of Star Wars, and I'm very happy to sort of have that kind of that niche carved out for myself. And but that said, if there was another opportunity to do something else and the character spoke to me, I would of course be up for it. But no, I'm happy with Anakin.
That's fair. That's fair. That makes us fair. This next one from Kevin from Baltimore. Has playing Vader changed the kinds of roles that you're drawn to?
Perhaps when I was a bit younger, I was maybe more drawn to sort of some darker roles, just because I'd spent sort of a good few years in sort of the Anakin headspace, and I'm sure that kind of that informed the sort of other work that I was kind of more interested in. But now as I've gotten older, I think, and having become a father, that perhaps makes me want to play some roles that aren't quite as dark, and I'd love to get to do something that my daughter could watch and enjoy. So we'll see.
You see how he brought balance to the Force? You see it? Okay, we're going to let you get out of here. We got some rapid fire questions for you.
All right, let's do it.
Ready? Favorite lightsaber color?
Red.
Jedi robes or Mandalorian armor?
Jedi robes, obviously.
This one's kind of messed up. Who is the best Jedi Master? Wait. I have options here, just to make it fair. Mace Windu or Yoda?
Obi-Wan wasn't an option. Both great Jedi Masters, obviously. I feel like they maybe both could have supported Anakin. This is true. But no, they're both great.
Okay, all right. This is very fair. I like that. Who is messier, R2-D2 or C-3PO?
Both a bit messy, I guess. I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with C-3PO just because when we were filming it was I guess a difficult costume for Anthony Daniels to see out, and so every now and then he would just kind of go over. And you couldn't help but have like a little bit of a chuckle, and then you go and help him up. But I always enjoyed that, and it always made me laugh.
You can laugh out. Okay, which would you rather? Be really skilled with a lightsaber or really skilled with the Force?
Really skilled with the Force.
Absolutely, you are.
What's that? Oh, thank you.
Would Darth Vader be a cat person or a dog person?
Well, I'm allergic to cats. Definitely a dog person.
Even if it's souped up, like it's got ventilation, you might be safe.
Still a dog person.
Star Destroyer or Death Star?
Death Star.
Last one. Would you rather join the rebellion or fight for the Empire?
Fight for the Empire.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.